In this episode, I had the chance to go to Tegucigalpa, Honduras to specifically look at the relationship between arboviral diseases and changing climate patterns due to climate change. Arboviral diseases is in a way the umbrella term for mosquito-borne and transmitted illnesses such as dengue, chikungunya, malaria, yellow fever, and more. To better understand why they are spreading more, I talked to Stavros Dimopoulos, the head logistics manager of the MSF Mosquito Project in Honduras.
Hay una relación directa entre los ciclos lluviosos y los periodos de sequía en cada país que se relacionan con la cantidad de incidencias y la cantidad de mosquitos en el ambiente. El tema de cambio climático y las sequías prolongadas, efectos del niño o de la niña, generan de variaciones en los periodos lluviosos mucho más impredecibles.
Dimopoulos also told me that the most affected are people from poor communities with limited access to water, who must store it in big buckets that turn into mosquito breeding sites. Together with a community outreach team, I visited the communities most affected by arboviral diseases in the past. The first person I met was Solanga Romero. He told me that he had noticed the irregular weather patterns that caused last year's wave of dengue cases in his community. He lives in an area called El Mirador del Canán, a marginalized community of people who settled in this space at the outskirts of Tegucigalpa. The buildings and structures are improvised and narrow, so cars cannot pass, nor can ambulances that need to reach a person that has contracted dengue or any other arboviral disease. This makes his neighborhood especially vulnerable to high death rates. Walking down the neighborhood, we came across a recently constructed area that is designed to catch rainwater and provide a space for people to wash their clothes and bathe if they like. When looking closely into the water, however, we could find larvae of 3 types of mosquitoes, 2 of which can transmit arboviral diseases. Afterwards, we visited Miriam Castillo, who told me that last year her daughter contracted dengue and the treatment put a heavy burden on the family. She eventually recovered after 3 days in the hospital. Miriam also very well knows the dangers of collecting water and having water tubs, but she insists that the weather has become so unpredictable that she has to store the water to ensure her livelihood that depends on rainwater. Luz Mendoza, a volunteer and head of a school in the neighborhood, says that arboviral diseases have also directly affected education. During last year's dengue wave, she recalls that many could not come to school, and even if only their parents had contracted dengue, many stayed home to help or as a precaution not to infect others. In order to combat the threat of a re-emerging emergency of dengue, MSF works closely with the World Mosquito Program, which is dedicated to introducing the Wolbachia bacteria into the mosquito population. This specific bacteria hinders the mosquito from carrying and transmitting arboviral diseases. First, the mosquito eggs that are infused with the bacteria are shipped in a cooled container from Medellin to Honduras in the shape of a tablet. These tablets are placed in plastic containers and dissolved in water. Slowly the eggs turn into larvae, which then grow into the full-grown mosquito after a couple of days in a storage space of the mosquito farm. The water is drained and the jar is ready to be taken by specialized release teams on motorcycles into the neighborhoods. Before being able to even enter some neighborhoods, MSF had to make a large campaign to ask for permission to go through. Many are controlled by gangs and considered extremely dangerous. Many people in the community also support the project and allow MSF to place some jars in their yards and trees. The anonymous feedback that I have gotten from the residents is that they have noticed fewer incidences of arboviral cases in their areas,